Hi everybody, this is Darren again, and I thought I would make one more video. Here you can see Miss Heatherlark all dressed up, and she's coated in gloss and then matte, so I don't have to worry about touching her. But I thought I'd address a little problem I had. I put the figure up on Cool Mini or Not, and I'm sitting here holding her in my hand. Not a bad little figure. So I figured, well, I'll just throw her up there. And she's got 28 votes, which you wait until you get about 50 before you got really good, or a really good idea. But it's just been bothering me, so I thought I'd do it. I got a score of 4.0. And I'm happy about that because it was sitting at like 3.6. And, this is not a 3.6 figure, in my opinion. Now, what led to this? Well, I did get a comment on my Cool Mini or Not thread talking about it, and said it just wasn't as good sculpt to him. And, that's kind of a valid point. She does have kind of a alien from Star Wars type face look to me. It's very triangular. It's got an angle that way and an angle that way, and big old open mouth, which, gee, I never gave her any lips. That maybe would have helped. But regardless of that, okay, the sculpt can be off. Sometimes you just can't make an ugly sculpt pretty. Then I put it up on Reaper's forums and got the comment that, oh, that was really good for a first-time painter. Problem is, I've been doing this for 6 years. Okay, granted, I hadn't been doing it for a long time. Not long time is what I meant. Not what I meant. I meant, I don't paint very fast, so I need to practice a lot more. Granted, okay. But, I was really amused at, hey, you're not bad for a first time. And kind of what prompted this video is, out of all the pictures of miniatures I've posted on my gallery in Cool Mini or Not, this one has the worst score ever. The second mini I ever painted has a better score, and it's much worse. So, I'm pretty disappointed. So I just wanted to go into the details, because if you're a first-time painter, your 5th or 6th figure is going to look phenomenal to you until someone sits there and says, oh, that's horrible, that's bleh. So let's go to the reasons what might be going wrong. First off, I'm going to address Elliwyn herself. First off, you could just have an ugly sculpt. This wasn't what that guy liked, so he probably wouldn't score it as high. Okay, it's opinion, that's fine. Another thing, especially on Cool Mini or Not, a lot of the minis posted are GameWorks figures. And so you get GameWorks fanboys. And if it's not something they're interested in, which is GameWorks, then it's not going to score well. It's the cat, if you can hear him. So, that may lead to a lower score. Simple paint scheme. We didn't do a lot of fancy blends or different colors. We've got gray, red, green, and brown. Maybe if we'd mixed an orange up for the pants, or gone with a bluish green thing for the tabard or whatever it is, maybe you would have scored higher. That's going to be a problem with a new painter. You're not going to have a lot of paints, so you're just going to have to deal with it. Going into the freehand, this is really sloppy. It doesn't look so bad sitting here in my hand, but you take a close-up picture and it's just, why did I do that? Why did I do that? I should have just left the plain shield and done a simple border, and I probably would have scored higher. So, you know, little details that you try and mess up, that could drive a score down too. Now, this is going to get a little sensitive, so younger viewers might want to do it. Might poke your head in your fingers in your ears for a little while. But it is a female figure that's fully clothed. And I've noticed on figures posted a bad paint job, but they show a little cleavage and some skin, they do a lot better. And you know, it's the people voting are teenage boys, and they're kind of interested in skin and cleavage, so that could be another reason. You know, she's not showing anything. She's clothed up all the way. You only see your neck and her hand. So that could be it too. One thing I realized after doing it too, and helps me justify it a little better, there's no base on here. It's just the standard Reaper broccoli base. So, you know, that right there, if I was voting on it, I'd take a full point off. So really, if I've got a 4.2 score on the registered votes, I've got a 5.2. So, okay, I just didn't put the time in to put it on a base. I don't have a lot of bases floating around, so that could be a problem. So, 1 point off there. Let's see. This one will be a fun one. I maybe took too good of a photo. I'll put a link in the Cool Mini voting site. You don't have to vote, don't worry. I'm not plugging for votes at this point. God, people will vote it down further. But, I got really close up, and you could see the texture in the paint. That maybe needed to be backed off a little bit. So, bad picture, which these aren't bad pictures, they're showing all the bumps and all, and that may be the problem, is they show the bumps. So, do too much detail on a tabletop figure. I had the picture all the way up to the screen, something like that. Actually, like that. It's not on autofocus, so it's not going to be in focus, but, a picture like that's going to show everything. Well, if it was in focus. A picture a little further away to, show a base and all that, it's going to hide a lot of the flaws. So you might want to keep that in mind. The other thing is I hadn't tried to paint a specific tabletop for like 6 years. So the next best figure I've got in my gallery, it's one step above, which right now is sitting at 1/10 of a point higher. So it's highly likely that, a little bit later on, I'll get a better score than that lowest one. But, go and look at the top 10 figures from 2003 versus 2013. And the ones scoring 9s and 10s back then, they would score maybe 7 now. And some of them would score higher, of course, but, it's just the expectations of a good paint job have increased, at least in the Cool Mini or Not community. Going to the next item I wrote down, we rushed some bits. I just kind of slopped on some stuff to kind of texture the boots. I could have painted, an entirely lighter shade of tan inside the boot. I could have painted the soles. We could have textured the horn a bit more. Could put a little bit better wash on the chainmail. Could have done the sword with a bright highlight. And so there's a lot of things that we could have done that, I just didn't invest the time in. So, that's one possible problem. Another one, the shading and highlights could have been pushed a whole lot further. Interest of time, I just wasn't doing that. And that would have got a bit better of a score. And kind of the final thing that I thought of looking at this is I gave it a bright white background. And I'm thinking that maybe was a mistake. It probably should have been a lot darker background to make the colors pop more, to kind of soften the glare from the image. I also have some gradients I could have tried. It's just being lazy. I just took what I had and went with it. The real reason was I was trying to photograph some dire rats. And was going to post a better picture, and I just decided, nah, I don't need to do that. But I left the white sitting there, and I didn't bother flipping back to the black background or trying out any of the other backgrounds that I've got. So, I guess in summary, disappointments are going to happen. I'm actually really looking forward to getting this figure back in bones, because I'm going to take her and sit her down, and we'll have a long talk about her inadequacies. And then we're going to paint her again. I don't know if I'll do it on video. I don't want to. It's hard to brush around a camera, and I may even rig up something so that it's looking more down, and I'm actually got everything free around. I'm gesturing where you guys can't see, but something up above and maybe much more further down, but something that's I have free space in front of me. It's just a simple tripod I've got it on right now, but disappointments are going to happen. I think I already talked this. So disappointments are going to happen. You just have to be prepared for it. The masterpiece in your short career, or your long career if you're like me, because it's not much of a career if it's amateurish. But anyway, we're going to sit down with her and repaint her the way I think she should have been painted. I don't know if I'll get to it this year, this next 2 years. But I will revisit her, and we'll see what, taking your time and spending a lot of hours. If you ever get into trying to get a commission job done, some people will spend 40 hours on a display mini. Some people will just laugh and say 40 is just what they spend on the shades and highlights of the base coats. So, there's a lot of work that could be done, put into this. So, anyway, I just wanted to pop that off and get that in front of everybody and try to help someone else that might come along and not have as thick a skin as I do. That, why do they hate my mini? Well, there's some points. And, if something doesn't go right the way you think you should, okay, I had to cut out a lot of background noises. But what I was going to say is that if the paint job does not get as high score or as nice comments that you think it should, then by all means go to the Reaper forums, the Cool Mini or Not forums, some painting forums, and go in and ask specifically for some critiques, because you got to remember, this hobby painting has a lot of nice people in it, and they are more than happy to rip your figure apart and tell you exactly what you screwed up at. They'll be nice about it, but one of my big worries is that I'm really good at pointing out other people's mistakes, but it's until I do the mistake myself that I can't see it. So, by all means, visit any forum you like and get some feedback, because it will help you, and we'll see what comes up with this. Anyway, thank you for watching this little epilogue. Epilogue? Yeah. Get feedback and improve. That's the only thing you can do, unless you want to just rage quit and throw them all in the trash. And if not, if you plan on doing that, just quitting the hobby entirely, send me an email, a message on YouTube, and I will gladly give you an address to send them to me, because one can never have enough minis. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.